Hi, I'm Adrienne Rogers, Artistic Director for Product Club. And on this mannequin, I did a traditional full head of highlights. These days, glazing is a very important component of your highlight work. People are not terribly happy with just a simple highlight without all the bells and whistles. One of the things that you can do is you can do a base drop or a root smudge. That basically means that you are softening up the line of demarcation at the top of the highlight. This helps with the hair color growing out and allows the hair to still look bright. You can also do a color melt, which is really increasing the depth at the root and allowing that to segue out. This gives the hair a slightly darker appearance because we're going to go deeper at the base and really deepens that up, and then the hair is light through the end. These two different things seem very similar, but I'm going to break it down for you so you can truly understand how to apply each of these. I like to do this on damp hair, so first I'm going to pause and I'm going to dampen this mannequin down. She had previously had a full head of highlights. We're going to put some water in it and then towel dry it so it has an even saturation all over. And then we're going to apply the glazes. For the right-hand side, we're going to do a simple root smudge and glaze through the ends. When I'm doing a root smudge, I typically use the same color as the base color. That way, it helps soften out that line of demarcation, but it doesn't introduce new depth to the design. So I like to start on the sides just to be sure that I have a nice clean parting and that I'm not introducing tone where it doesn't belong. And I'm going to part this way. And then I'm going to work with my bottle. So I have a black lid on this so that I know that this is the color that is going closest to the base. So I'm going to run it right up through the design, and I'm just gently touching that in, like the first half to the first inch of the hair. You don't need this to go any deeper than that because we're really just looking for a delicate effect. Now that I kind of have control of that, I'm going to pull each section up and I'm going to work my way back, holding the hair up in my hand as I blow through the back. This is a quick technique, and I like to do it with a bottle because I'm able to switch from bottle to bottle without too much extra stuff with the brushes. I also like to do this on damp hair because it moves really easily through the hair when it's already damp. When the hair is dry and you do this, you have to work a lot harder to make sure that it moves around and gets all of the areas. So the wetness creates a little bit of slip. Moving through just on the base, a ½ inch to an inch away. And then I'm coming back into the side, work my way down this way, and working through so that you don't get the color that you're using to smudge the highlights through the mid strands and the ends. I would say that's the trickiest bit of all glaze work, is the neatness that you use to protect the tones. This application is efficient and quick and really does a great job of softening up the lines of demarcation without killing the brightness. Because this first tone is the same color as the base tone, it's not going to make it too dark. Because we're not looking for depth, we're just looking for seamless blends. Pulling this back over. And then once I've got all of that base on there, I'm going to simply section, and you can do this in the shampoo bowl, but sometimes I like to do it in the chair because if you're really trying to be exacting, it's difficult in the bowl to dig underneath and make sure that you are covering all of the hair. I'm going to clip that up, and then I'm grabbing this section. I'm going to use my lighter tone. So if I am blending or equalizing any tones, I would control that now. And I'm moving through, depending on the density of the hair, with sections that I can easily saturate. They're not too big, but they're not too small. You don't want to spend too much time on this. Through. Now, as you can see, I'm not overly working that top tone into my glaze through the rest of it. If you work too hard on blending them, you're going to pull that into the strands, potentially darkening the hair more than you want to. And especially for blonde people, they definitely do not want that. Remember to charge for stuff like this, because this is also your artistry. This is a real component that is going to take your work and make it that much better. And you want to make sure that you're getting paid for it. And then coming all the way through. So just to review, I did a base 1/2 inch to 1 inch away from the scalp that is the same level as the base tone, and then I just refined the tone with something light going through the mid strands and the ends. Now we're going to switch to the other side and we're going to do a color melt. On this side, we're going to do a color melt. The main differential of a color melt from a root smudge is the depth. So if I am matching the level of the hair, the natural hair, on the root smudge, on this side I'm going to go deeper. This creates a nice shadowy point on the interior of the hair. It makes the hair look very modern, and it also gives it a little bit of an edge. So if you're looking for something with a little bit more of a hard edge style, this is a great option. I'm going to come in with my glaze, which is about 2 levels darker than the tone of the natural hair. And I'm going to move quickly across this top section. For the beginning of this, I'm only going to do the root section about 1 inch away because I think it's more manageable. I am going to drag this down further on the hair strand, but I'm only going to do that once I have the whole base applied. So I'm kind of applying it just like I did the other side, just at the base, and then we're going to really move that down the hair strand after we have it all organized and applied efficiently at the root area. You have design choices that you can make when you do this. If you're looking to keep the front a little bit lighter, you can omit that and leave that out and just glaze that with the glaze that you're using to refine the tone. Or if you're looking to go all the way, you most certainly can do all the way through the hair, all the way up to the hairline. Probably not your best choice if your client is obsessed with light hair around their face. So just use your judgment design-wise for your application. I'm gonna come around to the back and get that on. Once again, I'm doing this as efficiently as possible and trying to keep things as neat and organized as I can. I find that the colored tips on the Product Club bottles are incredibly helpful so that you're not picking up the wrong bottle. That is a very stressful moment when you don't know if you've got the right one in your hand. So by delineating each formula with a different colored tip, you're really covering your bases. Running all the way through and applying this at the base. Now, once I get to the back, as I want this to be a little bit deeper on the hair strand, I'm going to section this and put this up. And I'm going to take this hair and I'm actually going to comb this through a little bit. You can do this with a brush or a comb, and you just want to start stretching that through the hair strand. And then I'm going to apply the lighter color more toward the ends. And then blend that. Each layer, you're going to pull that through a little bit more through the lengths so that you can distribute the color that's at the base down the hair strand a bit, and then apply the lighter color on the end. When you put the lighter color on the end, it's going to help dilute the dye load. So if you are combing this through, it will naturally be lighter toward the ends because you are protecting those ends with that lighter color. You will have a nice transition as it moves through, but it will protect the brightness a bit. So this is going to come down probably about 2 inches from the base, maybe 2.5. And then the light color through the mids and the ends. And then you can comb it through. It definitely drags some of that base color through the hair, but it is a melt, so you need that transition in order to get that effect. This is about blending, it's not about keeping it separate. If you are looking for a very clean transition where the ends maintain their brightness, it's a good idea to not comb it through until the very end. That way you don't introduce this depth to the mid strands and the ends until you've got it all on. You can control that a little bit better. But if you're really looking for that melt, you can pull it right through in the beginning. For this side, I would probably process this potentially the full 20 minutes. You can always watch it and take it down earlier, but when you're putting depth back into hair, you want to give it enough time for it to work. If you cheat it, sometimes you don't get the effect that you're looking for. On the smudge side, I usually leave that on for much quicker, between 5 and 15 minutes, depending on how blonde that person is and how light they would like to keep their hair. So there you have it. From each side, I've addressed this differently. I've approached the side for the smudge, and we've only applied it a 1/2 inch to 1 inch off the scalp. Then the lighter color went through the mids and the ends. Again, design-wise, if you're looking for a brighter front, you can isolate that out and just apply the refining glaze that you put from the mids and the ends on that front hair. This side is our color melt. We pulled a deeper tone, about 2 shades deeper than the natural hair color, and pulled that past the curvature of the head a few inches in to really increase that depth through there. And then we refined the highlights through the ends. You're going to get 2 distinct different looks and a beautiful effect that will make the hair color look super modern.